Hello students, welcome to the part 3 of our first chapter. Today we are going to study the measurement of volume and mass and time. Volume. Space occupied by a substance is called volume. When we go to the market to buy milk, or when we go to the petrol station to buy some petrol or diesel, we always make use of the sentences like give us 3 liter of milk or 1 liter of milk, or please put 5 liter of petrol in the car or the bike. So this 5 liter of petrol or diesel or 1 liter 2 liter of milk is related with the physical quantity which is we calling as the volume of a substance. Volume of a substance is nothing but the space occupied by a substance. For example, when we talk about the volume of a cubical body, it is given by the formula length into breadth into height, whereas the volume of a sphere is given by the formula 4 by 3 pi r cube, where r is the radius. So, how much space is totally available inside a given object? We call that it's a volume. In SI unit, the volume is measured in the unit of 1 meter cube. In CGS unit, it has the unit 1 centimeter cube. So, if we have a cubical box with length, breadth and height, each 1 meter, then its volume will be 1 meter cube. So, 1 meter cube is the volume occupied by a cube with each side 1 meter. Whereas, if the length, breadth and the height of a cube is 1 centimeter each, then volume of a cube with each side 1 centimeter will be equal to 1 centimeter cube. When we go from SI to CGS unit, 1 meter cube can be converted into centimeter cube, which will give us the final result 10 raised to power 6 centimeter cube. Similarly, CGS to SI unit, 1 centimeter cube will be 10 raised to power minus 6 meter cube. Commercial unit of volume. Liter is used as the commercial unit of volume. 1 liter is the volume occupied by 1 kg of water at 4 degrees Celsius. So, 1 liter is the volume occupied by 1 kg of water at 4 degrees Celsius. Why 4 degrees Celsius? Because at 4 degrees Celsius, water has the maximum density. Smaller unit of volume which are being used, it is 1 milliliter. In short, 1 ml, which is also called as 1 cubic centimeter or 1 cc. 1 liter is 10 raised to power minus 3 meter cube, or it is equal to 10 raised to power 3 centimeter cube. 1 milliliter, which is 1 centimeter cube, is 10 raised to power minus 6 meter cube. Measurement of volume of a liquid. For the measuring the volume of a liquid, we can make use of measuring cylinders, measuring flask, pipette or the burette, which are the apparatus which we commonly observe in chemistry lab. Measurement of the volume of a regular solid body by the displacement method. First case, for a solid which is heavier than water. So we make use of a measuring cylinder which have graduations marked along its height. First step is to fill the water in the measuring cylinder and we note down the level. For example, in this case the initial level of the water is 60 ml. In the second step, we tie a body whose volume we have to measure with a very thin thread, and we will completely place it inside the water, which will raise the level of the water, and we have to measure its new level, which say for example in this case is 90 milliliter. So the total volume of the body is the difference of V2 and V1, which is 30 ml. So in this way we can measure the volume of a solid heavier than water. But what if a solid is lighter than water? In that case, we will make use of a heavier object which will, when tied with the given solid, it will completely place it below the free surface of the water. So we call that object as sinker, which helps the given object to completely sink inside the liquid. So we fill the water inside the cylinder and insert sinker inside it, and we note down the volume level. In this case it is 40 ml. So in this case, with the sinker inside the liquid, the level of the water inside the measuring cylinder is 40 ml. Now we will attach the body with the sinker, and again we will place them inside the water, which is further going to raise the level of the water, and we are going to find the new level, which in this case comes out to be 55 ml. In this case, the volume of the body is 50 ml. Measurement of mass. Mass is the amount of matter contained in the body. It is measured by physical balance or beam balance. Figure is right in front of you. Principle of physical balance. In equilibrium, the movement due to weight of object on the left hand side of the beam is equal to the movement due to the standard weight on the right hand side of the beam. Condition for true balance. Both arms of the balance must be of equal length, and both pans of the balance must have the same weight. If these conditions are satisfied, then we will get the actual weight or the actual mass being measured by the physical balance. Measurement of time. Time is nothing but the interval between the two events recorded by a clock. It is measured by the simple pendulum. So this is what a simple pendulum looks like. It has a point of suspension from where we have tied a heavy point mass, a metal bob with a thread hanging vertically in the downward direction. Then displaced from its mean position, which is directly below its point of suspension, it oscillates about its mean position. So B and C are its extreme positions. Total length of the pendulum includes the length of the thread plus the radius of the bob, which is known as the effective length of pendulum. So a simple pendulum is a heavy mass suspended by an inextensible and massless string oscillating freely in a vertical circle. So the string we are using, it must be inextensible and massless. Oscillation. Back and forth motion of a pendulum, we call it as an oscillation. Time period. Time taken to complete one oscillation is called time period. Frequency. How many oscillations are completed by the pendulum in 1 second? That is called as the frequency. Amplitude. Maximum displacement of the bob from its mean position, or displacement of pendulum from its mean position, we call it as the amplitude. Or you can say, if you measure the distance between the mean position and the extreme position, we call that as amplitude. Effective length. Length between the point of suspension and the center of gravity of bob, that is length of the thread plus the radius of the bob gives us the effective length of pendulum. What factors affect the time period? First, length of pendulum. Time period of a simple pendulum varies directly with the square root of the effective length of pendulum, that is T is proportional to square root of L. So if we have two pendulums, one with length L1, time period T1, second with the length L2 and time period T2, T1 will be proportional to square root of L1, T2 will be proportional to square root of L2. If we divide, T1 over T2 will be equal to square root of L1 over L2. Second factor is acceleration due to gravity. So time period varies inversely with the square root of acceleration due to gravity, that is T is proportional to 1 over square root of G. G is acceleration due to gravity, which is 9.8 meter per second square. So if we have one pendulum which is present on the surface of Earth where acceleration due to gravity is G1, it will have time period T1. But if it move to some other place with the acceleration due to gravity G2, the time period will be T2. Then time period T1 will be proportional to 1 over square root G1, T2 will be proportional to 1 over square root G2. If you divide, T1 over T2 will be equal to square root of G2 over G1. expression for time period. The final expression for time period of pendulum is T equal to 2 pi under root L over G. L is the effective length of the pendulum. 2 pi is a constant of proportionality. Time period of a simple pendulum does not depend upon the material or the mass of the bob. So, if the simple pendulum is made up of a metal bob, so instead of using a metal bob, we use a bob made up of wood or any other object. It is not going to change the time period, but with the condition it must not change the total effective length of the pendulum. Second, it is also independent of amplitude, provided amplitude must not be more than 5 dB. So when you take the bob from its mean to extreme position, it gets displaced by a certain angle with respect to its vertical mean position. So if that angle is 5 degree or less, in that case also time period will be given by the same expression 2 pi under root L over G. Seconds pendulum. If we have a pendulum whose time period is 2 seconds, we call it as seconds pendulum. That is, it will complete its one oscillation in a time period of 2 seconds. We want to find out the length of seconds pendulum, which is an important question. So we will use expression for time period. If we square both sides, find the expression for L, it will be equal to gt square over 4 pi square. So substituting the value of g, t and pi, the value comes out to be almost 100 centimeter. So if we use a simple pendulum of length 100 centimeter, it will have time period 2 seconds, which will be then called as seconds pendulum. If we draw a graph between square root of length and the time respectively taken on y-axis and x-axis, or graph between L and T square, they will be straight line as shown in the screen. Hope you will like the video. Thank you for watching. We will meet next time in the next topic, screw gauge.